Most men walk down the aisle completely unprepared, not financially, not emotionally, psychologically. They have no idea that way before the wedding, back when they were still dating, the first 6 months of the relationship, they were already signing a contract, not with a pen, with their behavior. And that contract became the law of the marriage before the ring, before the vows, before any of it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what that contract contains and why most men sign it without ever knowing it existed. Here's what every man needs to know before he starts dating. And I mean before, not during, not after the first fight, before. The first 6 months don't just determine the relationship, they determine the marriage. Not the wedding ceremony, the dating phase. This is what happens way before she ever tries on the dress, way before you buy the ring, way before any of it. And guess what? Science explains exactly why. During the early phase of a relationship, the brain is flooded with dopamine and phenolphthalein. This is called Lorance. Have you heard that term before? Lorance is not just butterflies and excitement, guys. Lorance is an involuntary, obsessive state of romantic infatuation. It's a chemical takeover of the brain. And during this phase, the brain is hyperplastic. It's actively building a cognitive map of your partner, a permanent predictive model of who they are and how they will be forever. Not for the next few months, forever. Whatever patterns get established during this window become what her nervous system accepts are normal. And normal is impossible, almost impossible to change. In behavioral psychology, this is called anchoring. And here's where it gets a little brutal. If you anchor yourself during those first 6 months as someone who is overly agreeable, who has weak boundaries, who leads from a place of fear instead of confidence, guess what her nervous system is doing? It's registering that as your permanent identity. It literally rewires around that version of you. And when you try to change later, when you finally wake up and decide to become a man, she doesn't experience it as growth. She experiences it as betrayal. She thinks, who the hell is this person? This is not the man I started dating. And the research is so clear on this, it's frightening. Every single behavior you accept becomes a behavior she repeats. Let me say that one more time because I need it to land. Every single behavior you accept is a behavior that she is going to repeat, which means every single time she disrespected you and you said nothing, every time she threw a tantrum and you apologized for it, every time she crossed a line and you smiled and moved on, you were handing her a blueprint, a manual, instructions for exactly how to treat you. And every boundary you failed to enforce got carved into stone. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? This is not theory. This is the operating system of your entire marriage being written during the dating phase before you even know it's happening. You're not just dating her, you are training her. Let me repeat, you are not dating her, you are training her. And what you train in those first 6 months is what you will live with for the rest of your life. Most men think that the work starts at the wedding. No, the work started the moment she met you. And if you showed up spineless, people-pleasing, and desperate for her approval, you've already destroyed something you haven't even built yet. That is how serious this is. When a man avoids leadership, he doesn't create peace. He creates a disaster. A silent, invisible disaster that takes years to fully reveal itself. And her nervous system, guess what? Can't survive in disaster. So what happens when masculine energy goes missing from a relationship? A woman activates her animus. The animus is the masculine force that lives inside of every single woman, the part of her designed for structure, direction, control, and order. And when she is forced to activate it because the man in her life refuses, something irreversible begins. She becomes the planner, the decision maker, the emotional boss of the relationship. And here's the part that destroys everything. The moment she starts managing you, she stops seeing you as a man. She sees you as a project, a burden, a problem that she has to solve every single day, a grown child she absolutely did not agree to raise. And here is where it becomes a complete death sentence for attraction. When a woman manages and the man just complies, the desire dies. Not slowly, not gradually, immediately. A woman cannot desire her employee. She cannot be sexually attracted to somebody that she's parenting. A man who has been managed, handled, and emotionally carried by his own woman has been psychologically dismantled. But not by her, though. By his own refusal day after day to show up as a man. Here's an example. I had a client whose wife had zero interest in intimacy for about 3 years. 3 years. When I asked who ran the relationship, he said, "We're equal partners." I told him that means she does. She had been doing it since the first month of dating. He was so desperate to please her, so terrified of losing her, so addicted to her approval that he handed her total control before they were even official, before they were even anything. And then he spent 3 years wondering why she looked at him like a roommate instead of a lover. The answer was devastatingly simple. You cannot be attracted to a man that you can manage. You just can't. The problem was never her, though. It was the vacuum that he created on day one of dating, and the contract that he unknowingly signed by handing her his power before she ever even asked for it. So what do you actually need to be established before you get married? 3 things. 3 non-negotiable things, and all 3 need to be in place during the dating phase before the ring. Because after the ring, trying to establish them feels like complete betrayal to yourself. She will look at you like a stranger, like you pulled a bait and switch after she already committed her life to you. So number 1, the structural frame. You take ownership of direction, planning, decision-making. You are the man. You are the one responsible for where this relationship goes. It's your responsibility. Not because she can't handle it, because it's your job. Because that is what masculine leadership actually looks like, guys. A man who says, "Here is where we're going, and here is how we're going to get there," is the man she will follow, is the man that she will desire, and is also the man that she will fight every single day to keep. Number 2, uncompromising boundaries. And I want to be absolutely crystal clear here about what this actually means. Boundaries are not ultimatums. Boundaries are not long emotional speeches about your feelings. No. Boundaries are standards that you enforce through your behavior, not your words, your behavior. When she disrespects you, you don't explode. You don't argue. You don't beg for her to understand. You simply just go quiet, pull back. Your presence becomes scarce. She feels your absence before you ever say a word. Here's what this looks like in real life. She makes a disrespectful comment at a dinner you planned with 0 acknowledgement and 0 apology. A weak man makes a passive-aggressive comment and lets it go. A man with real standards pays the bill, gets up, and when she asks what's wrong, he says, "I don't tolerate disrespect." And that's it. No drama, just leaves. No long explanation, just consequences. And guess what? She learns more from that one moment than from 100 conversations. Number 3, emotional stability, a woman's deepest need. It's not money, it's not security in the financial sense. It is the absolute knowledge that when her world falls apart, her man will not fall apart with her. She needs to know that when her emotional storm comes, because it will, they will come. He will not fold. He will not panic. He will not add his chaos to hers. He will stand there like a wall, completely unmoved, solid, unshakable. A man who can be that is a man she will spend the rest of her life trying to never lose. These are the 3 things that cannot be introduced after the wedding. They must be established from the very first few months of dating, because the woman she becomes in your marriage is a direct and unforgiving reflection of the man you decided to be before the ring ever existed. And some of you guys don't like to hear that. When she picks a fight over nothing, when she challenges your decision for no logical reason, when she creates chaos that makes absolutely no sense, she's not trying to win. She is trying to find your breaking point. She is unconsciously asking one specific question. Is there something solid here? Can I lean against this man without him collapsing under my weight? Because a woman cannot relax into her femininity with a man she cannot trust to hold the relationship together. She cannot be soft with someone she doesn't believe is strong enough to handle her. Every time a man falls under the test, every time he gets emotional and abandons his position just to restore the peace, every time he apologizes for something he didn't even do wrong, her nervous system registers it. Not consciously, though. Biologically, he is not solid. He cannot hold me. He will not survive my worst. And the testing escalates because she is still searching for the foundation. And if she never finds it, she stops searching. She stops believing it exists. She stops respecting the man standing in front of her. Studies on mate selection across 37 cultures proved something that cannot be argued with. Guys, every single culture showed the same result. Women are hardwired to be attracted to decisive, dominant men who hold their standards under pressure. This is their evolution, hardwired into every cell of their body. A man who cannot hold his frame under pressure signals low value. And that signal cannot be overridden by love. It cannot be argued with. It cannot be reasoned with. It's biological, it's ancient, and it's absolutely final. The most dangerous thing a man can do when she tests him is collapse. Because every single time he collapses, he confirms her deepest biological fear that she chose a man who cannot hold her. Now here's the part that's going to make you lose your damn mind. I'm going to butcher this name, but Nietzsche wrote this over 100 years ago. He said, "The relationship between a man and a woman requires a deep internal conflict, a raw primal tension between two opposite forces. And the moment you eliminate that tension, you kill the attraction completely." Our modern culture today has spent decades building that perfectly equal relationship, right? The perfectly comfortable democratic partnership, eliminating all conflict, all polarity, all friction, that egalitarian relationship, right? Celebrating couples who never fight, who never push each other, who have smoothed out every edge between them. And the result? Millions of couples who love each other and feel completely, absolutely nothing for each other, who share a bed and a mortgage and have complete absence of desire, who have become glorified roommates with a joint bank account. We don't want that because desire doesn't want comfort. Desire doesn't want equality. Desire wants polarity. Desire wants distance. Desire wants the raw electric tension between a man who leads and a woman who chooses to follow. And he said something else that nobody in 2026 has the courage to quote. A woman who unlearns to fear her man sacrifices her most womanly instincts. And a man's capacity for severity is directly linked to his capacity for profound love. Just hear that. The hardest men, the firmest men, the men who are built from something real, are capable of the deepest love you will ever encounter. Because love without strength is just desperation with a romantic story attached to it. The softest men are not the most loving men. They're the most desperate ones. And desperation is the single most repulsive thing a woman can encounter in a man. A woman's attraction is tied to one specific piece of knowledge, that you have enough self-respect to actually leave her if he repeatedly violates your boundaries. She must know with deep and absolute certainty that you will leave her be. Because if you have no boundaries you're willing to walk away, for you have no attraction. Period. I want to speak directly to the man recognizing themselves right now. The ones who gave everything, who were flexible, accommodating, patient, endless in their kindness, right? Who kept the peace at the cost of everything. Who watched the woman they love slowly, quietly, completely lose respect for them without understanding a single thing about why it's happening. Here's why. You were taught that love means compliance, that a good man sacrifices himself completely, that boundaries are selfish, that leadership is toxic, that the way to keep a woman is to become whatever she needs whenever she needs it, and you have to give it in every single moment, right? I'm sorry, but you were lied to systematically by a culture that confused weakness with safety and desperation with devotion. And the relationship you're sitting in right now, or the one that you already lost, is the direct cause of that lie. But I'm not here to make you feel sorry for yourself, right? That's not what Lauren does. That is the last thing you need, okay? I'm here to make you angry enough to change because the man you were supposed to be is still inside of you. He's there. The one who is built from something solid. The one with standards so high that the wrong woman simply cannot stay. The one who walks away without hesitation when his worth isn't recognized. He didn't disappear. He didn't die. He just got buried. Under years of yes when you meant no. Under years of sorry when you did nothing wrong. Under years of shrinking yourself to fit inside a life that was never built around the real you. Dig him out right now. Not tomorrow, right now. For every man out there that is about to date somebody, or certainly in those first 6 months, listen to me. Don't get married until you teach her this. Not on wedding day, not after the honeymoon when you're already locked in. In the first 6 months of dating, when the frame is still being built, when the patterns are still forming, when the contract is still being written. That is your window, the only window. And once it closes, it is almost impossible to reopen without burning everything down to the ground first. Set the standard before the ring. Enforce your boundaries before they become the patterns she lives by forever. Because the woman who knows from day one that you actually do have the self-respect to walk away, she will spend the rest of her life making sure that she never loses you. And for the men already married who want to bring back attraction in their marriage, that video is coming. I'll see you in the next one.